Hi, everybody. Welcome to FNS Wrestling Podcast, episode number 248. We are back down in the basement to talk about another week of professional wrestling. If you're a follower of ours, you probably noticed we already released yesterday our Wrestlemania and Stand and Deliver preview, Wrestlemania 41, even though on the graphic I put on the screen it says Wrestlemania 40, and I'm not changing it. So
did you put the wrong logo?
Yeah, not wrong logo, but I put up a little title thing that pops up. For like almost a minute it says 40, but our words say 41. But anyways, we're going to talk about our usual rundown on this episode: Dynamite, NXT, Raw, some trivia, some news, and I think that's it. So this is my co-host Jack sitting over there.
It is.
Not saying anything so far. Yesterday we went downtown, took the family, added on one kid, friend of your brother's.
So long.
Downtown, you picked up new shoes.
Yeah, that's not something you're going to say often.
No, everyone else in this family buys shoes and you don't.
And actually, no one else did yesterday. That's the weird part.
That you were the only one buying shoes.
That's the strangest part to me, is that I got multiple pairs of shoes and no one else got
That's
any.
your two pairs that will last you 5 years. So,
yeah, honestly, if I stop growing, there's no telling how long I'll use them for.
Went out for a nice Mexican lunch at one of our favorite spots.
And I got the one thing I came for.
You did. You got whatever that is.
Savage Press, baby.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
From the GameStop downtown.
Yeah.
Lunch ended up.
It's the only one now.
Lunch ended up being free.
Lunch was free.
Yes.
Everything was free for me, actually. I didn't buy a single thing yesterday.
That's correct. But you got stuff. You're spoiled.
That's
all there is
Love
to
stuff.
it. And then I played 2.5 hours of pickleball today. That was pretty awesome. Outside. That's my favorite
You got
part.
your time in before things went to crap.
I did. What do you mean?
Now I could hear it raining when I was coming down.
Oh yeah,
before I came down.
I told you I saw lightning as we were just.
I think you're right, because honestly, I didn't really notice, but I kind of I could kind of hear it, or sorry, not hear it, but see it out of the corner of my eye after you mentioned it, and then I can just hear the rain. So definitely going to crap.
More weather. Excellent. Anyways,
because we're not consistent here anymore. It's just one day it's decent,
it was
hours ago it was
16
decent
today,
and then it just.
It'll be snowing tomorrow.
Yeah, right. And then we get the light snow again. It's April. It's April, so
it is April.
It all makes a lot of sense.
So I don't know. I guess we should get to talking wrestling. We've been recording a bunch extra stuff, so I mean, I'm ready to talk.
The only other thing I had was the greatest news of my life,
which was
Darth Maul show. I'm so happy. I almost cried this morning.
Is that in animated or
animated? Yeah. Okay. Apparently new animated style, which kind of sucks. 'Cause I wanted to look like Clone Wars, but I've been begging for this for most of my life, for you. At least 5 years. But
when's it coming out?
He's my boy. Next year.
Do you know how many episodes?
No, I don't know much yet. I just know it's set after Clone Wars, and then that he has an apprentice. Because I think they showed a trailer to the people at the Star Wars event in Japan, which is why I woke up to it. Because obviously the time difference is whatever over there.
Yeah,
and it's been in the rumor mill for a while. It's kind of like how Lucha Bros have been rumored for a while, and you know it's coming. But honestly, I wasn't sure it was coming. I thought
Lucha Bros got my Death Triangle shirt on.
You do. I got Wyatt 6, I guess.
What did you have on earlier today? Oh, you're Josh Alexander.
I did, yeah.
I mean, yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday. Yes.
Yeah, sorry.
But I'm super excited for that because I've been waiting for this to happen for so long, because he's my favorite. He's been my favorite for as long as I can remember.
You've always enjoyed his work.
I got my
super evil guy. It's just we like the heels in wrestling better.
Oh, he's great too, and he's never the main character of a show, and so now he gets a show.
Mid-card heels. They're my favorite. They're my absolute favorite.
Yeah, I love that too. Oh my god. Anyways, I was so happy about that because it's just been so long. And next year's gonna be crazy too. The amount of things coming out that are of interest to me, because there's this show, there's big Marvel, lesser Marvel, just to put in vague terms for you, and new Hunger Games.
Lesser Marvel is what?
New Spider-Man, which is actually pretty big too. But then there's the big fat Avengers one,
Gotcha.
And then there's a Mall show. Oh, and the Mando movie, so we'll get a Star Wars movie next year too.
That's cool.
And then the Hunger Games movie, which looks really good. I need to read the book because the book's out now, and the movie's next year.
It's a new book, a new movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Haymitch from the original one.
No.
Well,
I know nothing.
Okay. But anyways, it's about him. And then also I saw in 2027 there's another Star Wars movie, which I don't remember about, that has Ryan Gosling in it.
Nice.
And you and me, my friend, were
Canadian
saying,
boy?
Is he?
I
Let me
think
look it
so.
up. Me and my friend were saying too, and I know you were saying this about Star Wars, is like
'Cause he was on Breaker High.
it's cool, but it'd be nicer if we had someone we don't know. He is Canadian, actually. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Like it'd be cool if we had someone new in there, because
Yeah.
like I don't really care about Ryan Gosling a ton, so it'd be nice if we had someone like
But now that you know it's Canadian, you care so much.
right. It'd be nice to have someone new, so then it's more immersive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not like it's like how they never did stunt casting in The Office kind of thing.
They never did what in The Office?
Stunt casting, like where they, I think that's what they call it, or stunt casting or something like that,
Where do you do what?
where you cast like someone big and then
Oh, yeah.
like they like what's her name who plays Joe? That would be an example of that, or like Will Ferrell when they bring
Gotcha.
him in briefly, that kind of thing.
Even Charles is a pretty big actor.
That one,
isn't
yeah,
he?
yeah, that one too,
Idris
right? That kind
Elba.
of thing. So I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, I'm just glad we're getting movies again, because it'll almost have been 6 years since the last movie.
Nice.
So
Wow.
that'll be cool. Because like there's been a bunch of shows, right, that we've watched and
Yeah.
whatnot, but they haven't had
That's right.
movies
It has
since
been a while.
pre-pandemic, which is crazy.
Something to do. I like that.
Yes, sir.
All right. We'll officially start talking wrestling now. First segment is always talking about some of the week's news and rumors. I'm doing it. No ratings for you this week. Nothing.
Heel turn.
Heel turn. This is nobody reached out and said we must have them. So you know what? I'm just doing it for me, as you said. So I'm gonna not do it. Didn't even look. Don't know what the ratings are.
Wow.
It's a mystery.
Turning a new leaf here.
It is. So I'm starting out with instead. I do have. I told you I liked one of my news things. So I think it'll be
Okay.
fun. But first, Triple H bemoans complacent NXT stars on WWE main roster. Did you see that?
No.
So apparently, he says something like when they're in NXT, I'm trying to think who he's referring to. Okay, so who might this apply to?
Mellow.
I don't think so, because he says when they're in NXT, they're in great shape, they have a great work ethic, whatever, and then they go to main roster and they seem to not do those things.
He's still in good shape, but like
That's what I mean. So
He
I'm trying to.
doesn't-
It seems like because Triple H was a body guy, so it seems like that's something he went out of his way to say.
yeah.
Oh, and he said something about their cardio being better in NXT
Ooh,
as well.
that because break can't be breaker.
But anyways, I thought it was interesting because we've said that, but I don't know.
But that's more so with booking, not like
Right. So now he's kind of like it's the fault of some talent that they're not.
I don't know who that could apply to.
Me either.
Unless it's like someone who's been released that I'm not thinking of.
Me too. But anyway,
But like it's not coming to me.
and it's odd that he would make it. It's clearly somebody supposed to hear that comment, right?
I would think so. It feels a little pointed.
It does. So I was curious.
Yeah, that's interesting. Bad news for us is Mariah May is expected to leave AEW.
That was my next one.
For WWE. I really hope it's not the case, but I wouldn't be surprised. Like I'd be eager to take her if I were them.
And
It's
they're
a shame
gonna-
for us because we loved her work so much. Like I think
Amazing.
she was pretty flawless, and I fear her in ring style will be diluted, and the character won't be up to par with her AEW run. Because for how as short as her run was, like
So, like
just over a
18
year,
months or something. Maybe?
yeah,
she was.
She
amazing.
knocked all her matches at the park. She was part of one of the biggest angles in the women's division.
Promos
Great
were
champion.
amazing.
Promo's great. Character's great. I pray she's not leaving, but I fear maybe a foregone conclusion. If she's gone,
Sounds
at least
like it.
she went out with a bang the last match.
Meltzer, yeah, for sure. That match was awesome.
So-
Meltzer says she wants to be a WWE superstar.
That
So,
sucks.
and they'll throw a ton of money at her. Great for her.
I mean, she got herself exposed with AEW,
Yep.
so it's kind of smart. As
Remember,
much
we
as I
knew
hate it.
nothing. I'm like, I don't know who this is.
Yeah,
Is she really that big a deal? And then she was awesome.
yeah. I mean, she played it smart. So
She did. Did you see? I think you've talked about this. AEW possibly consolidating titles. Fightful reporting possibility of Continental and International, right?
that seems to be the plan, given it's Omega and Okada.
With some in the company saying it's a quote firm creative plan.
That's fine.
I
As
think
long
so
as we
too.
keep the better belt, which is Omega's,
Like physically looking better belt.
physically and lineage.
Okay. Yeah.
Because the only thing Continental has going for it is that it's got like the Continental rules.
And the
where there's no-
what happens
where's
to the
the-
C2 then?
Just do it.
And
Before
it's
a
for
world
the
title
other
shot.
one? World title shot?
Is that not better than just getting that mid card belt? You know what I mean?
I don't know. I kind of like crowning a new mid card person, but
I know, but like then it's got bigger stakes. It makes more sense to have main eventers like Osprey in the tournament if you
I
do
guess.
that.
Yeah.
And then it's more like the G1, which I think they want it to be.
Yeah.
So I feel like it makes more sense just to put for the world
I
title
just think
shot.
there's
And
too
I'd
many
keep the
belts.
name because I think it's cool.
Too many belts, so
Yeah.
get rid of one is fine.
And I think like the time limit on the belt and the no interference is fine, but like Honestly, it doesn't always make that much of a difference.
I like it. I love a whole tournament of it.
I like that. I think even for the tournament, but in terms of the title matches,
yeah,
it doesn't really make much of a difference. So yeah, I think we get rid of Okada's belt because he's held it for so long and he's only the second champion.
mm-hmm.
So I feel like if we just axe that lineage, it really doesn't matter. Because if we were to unify the titles and keep that lineage, it's like when WWE unified their tag belts, but then they kept the newer lineage of like the ones that got introduced in 02. And that's now the lineage that we have for the Raw belts currently.
If you say so.
Which could have dated back to the Federation's start, but instead they took the newer lineage. So technically the world tag titles, the old ones are dead. You know what I mean? So I feel like it'd just be weird, like, because we have the international belt, which has already like Mox and MJF on its legacy, Osprey on its legacy, Cassie's epic run on its legacy. So why would you throw away that lineage? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right.
I feel like we have to keep that one.
It does feel like that belt's a little
and it's
more
also
important.
just more aesthetically pleasing.
I thought that's where you were going.
That too, because honestly, I think we should just unify the belts, not make a new belt, just keep the beautiful one.
Nice.
Because honestly, the Continental belt's like, it's fine.
It's fine.
It's not ugly. It's fine. A couple show announcements we have. Forbidden Door 2025 is in London, I think, since they're not getting All In.
Okay.
So that's for the O2 Arena. I think it's in August.
That'll be a good crowd.
Usually in July, but it seems to switch placements with All In because All In is it's July 12th, I think. And then I was telling you AEW and CMLL are running Arena Mexico for Grand Slam Mexico. I think it's just going to be basically the same deal as the Australia one. So at least we know what to expect this time.
Yeah.
Except this one's on a
bait and switch on us.
This one's on a Wednesday, so this will be a review for us.
A Super Dynamite.
Yeah. And actually, I didn't put in my news, but I was telling you I think also in June we have Summer Blockbuster, it's called, I think, or something like that. And it's going to be a 4-hour Dynamite.
Okay.
Which I know we always like crap on 3-hour Raw or whatever, but that's also every week. If it's 1 week where we get like longer Dynamites and more matches, hopefully like the one we got this week.
Just gonna say double up the one we just had.
Right. Then I'm okay with that. So I think that's kind of a cool idea to do every now and then, is like to extend it. So and if the network's allowing them, I think that's cool. So I'm looking forward to that.
They have the talent to fill.
I'm looking forward to that, yeah. That'd be cool. So some biggie shows.
The only other thing I have were some WrestleMania bets, because everyone can bet on everything. Like all the dads I hang out with are all sports betting on the app.
Yeah,
basically.
Of course they are. Well, because the ads are everywhere. They basically like force you to do it.
So I just have if it's a favorite or not. I didn't get into because the favorite will be minus whatever and underdog will be plus whatever. So anyways, I just went with which is which. Does Triple H cry during his Hall of Fame speech?
Yeah.
Favorite is yes.
I actually don't even know what time that is or like when it is. I don't care.
No,
but I'm just saying I have no idea.
Will Cody Rhodes cry during his match with John Cena? I have the.
Why would he cry during the match?
It says yes is an even bigger favorite than.
That seems weird to me.
Triple H, I agree. Will Cody Rhodes' dog make an appearance during WrestleMania 41?
Almost definitely.
Yes is the favorite. Who takes the pin in the men's triple threat? Because you can
Punk.
bet. Punk is the favorite. Reigns is the least favorite. Least likely.
Okay, interesting.
Who will Paul Heyman leave with at WrestleMania 41?
Rollins.
Rollins is the favorite. Reigns is the underdog. Will El Grande Americano get unmasked?
No.
Yes is the favorite.
I disagree.
This one was interesting. Will any female nipple make an appearance?
Maybe like 20 years ago. Like what?
So you're saying no? Pay 7-1 if you bet yes.
I mean, I'm sure it would,
but these are
good luck.
These are things you can bet on.
That's insane to me.
Yeah, that's all I have.
Especially in the PG era. That seems absurd to me.
Yeah. Well, it would be accidental.
But like, there's still, the chances are so incredibly slim.
I guess.
Anyways, I got a bunch of news.
Go for it.
So we're talking New Japan now, which
we love it.
Yeah, we follow it deeply. They're getting
we follow it deeply.
They're getting screwed. Jeff Cobb is leaving. They announced it officially. There's been rumors he's going to WWE. That's still the belief.
That's tough.
Makes it seem more likely because of money and his age. He's reportedly set to main event wrestling Dontaku against Goto and challenge for the world title, but that's thrown out. And he vacated the heavyweight tag titles that he held with Ospreay Jr., aka Callum Newman. I really hope they don't waste Cobb in WWE. I think he's sick. He could be a great hoss. Oh, this is who I was thinking should join Judgment Day.
It's WWE
I think
for
he
sure.
should join Judgment Day.
It's WWE for sure. Okay.
I like if I were Dom and I'm looking for people in Judgment Day, I'm looking Cobb's way because
Yep.
he'd be a great heater for Dom. And I feel like his ceiling's not much higher than that.
I was just gonna say I don't feel optimistic about what they'll do with him.
Right? So I think we were saying Rusev, but Rusev could survive on his own, especially because now I'm hearing Lana is coming back. So I would put Cobb in Judgment Day. I think that'd be great.
Good thing it's not the redacted era because Cobb is not very tall.
No, but Cobb his moonsault makes me giggle.
Cobb is awesome.
Yeah, Jepu Kabu. Oh, we'll never hear Jepu Kabu ever.
Never again.
That's that's depressing. And also to pardon New Japan is Tetsuya Naito and Bushi are leaving after Dontaku on May 4th. I'm afraid Naito comes to us.
I don't know, man. He can't.
I don't
do
really
things.
want Naito, and I don't think he's Okada. I know we
He's
did make
not.
this mistake
He is
before
not.
with Okada, but
He's not Okada or
Okada.
Nakamura, and look at Nakamura.
Honestly, he can go to WWE. That's fine.
Yeah.
I just don't need him to come to AEW.
I did see that he was gone.
Then Honky Tonk Man's on a new Legends deal. I only know this because I thought he was already on one because I swear he had basics recently-ish.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That was something. And then last one, just because it's kind of good for us, is Shelton Benjamin's deal with AEW is apparently 3-year.
Oh, nice.
So we'll have him till like 2027, something like that.
Good for Shelty.
Kind of on the other end of the spectrum of Mariah May. Means we'll have him for a while. I'm couldn't be happier to hear. I think he's been a smashing success so far.
Absolutely.
He hasn't put a bad foot forward. The Hurt Syndicate's one of the most over things in the company, and all of his matches have been great.
Yep.
So I'm really glad they're keeping him. And if I'm him, I'm happy there. This is like the best he's looked in decades.
Way better treatment
yeah.
on TV so far.
Because especially in his return run in WWE, they never gave him anything.
And it's proving what I always said, and I think you did too, is that they left money on the table with the Hurt business.
Oh, 100%. I think like they're so
because they're not doing much different.
No, they're just doing it better and just actually being allowed to do it.
Yeah, with fresh opponents.
Yeah, and it's the best the tag titles have been in a while.
For sure,
I would say.
Easily.
So that it's just an up. So I'm glad we're keeping Shelton for a while, and I hope we keep Lashley for a while too, because we need them as an act.
It's weird you're saying that.
I know
we were never big Lashley people.
We weren't feeling Lashley, but like they've just done a really good job with it.
Yep. All right, so we'll move into talking about a program of wrestling that we watched. It was awesome. I'll say that now, but we're going to talk about it probably pretty in depth. It is this week's AEW Dynamite. I am looking forward to talking about this episode of Dynamite for sure.
It was quite the episode, and they're celebrating what it was.
That's right.
They surpassed Nitro, which
pretty crazy.
Must be crazy for someone who's watched both of those things.
Nobody could be that old to have watched both those things from day one.
Oh, from day one.
I was watching WCW from day one, let alone Nitro.
That makes it funnier. I guess that would work out, honestly.
Yeah, it was because I didn't have cable, and we picked up it was Rochester or Buffalo, and they were just changing to NWA WCW, which was had to be 90-ish early.
I think they were already WCW 90. I think it was like
really, yeah, could
88, 89. So like it's still in the ballpark, right?
Yeah,
right. But yeah,
I remember it well.
This is them. Why is there Seth Rollins on the floor?
That's where he belongs. Well, maybe that's foreshadowing.
Right.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, no, this was them surpassing Nitro, which is crazy. Which you're saying like WCW is all obviously around for a decent bit before Nitro.
Yeah, it was.
Like Nitro was more.
But Nitro was a later thing.
Yeah. They're calling this Spring Breakthrough, I guess, to give it some sort of special name. It's better, but very akin to Spring Breakin'.
That's right. That's right.
NXT. It's like very close. A really another nice venue though. Hammerstein-esque with the balconies.
It was nice, yeah.
And the ring level ramp makes its triumphant return, which is always nice to see. And the hard cam's like within the stage. Like they have like the grating in the wall, and then there's like a hole.
I didn't notice that.
I noticed the hole, but I couldn't figure out why. And then eventually I noticed that's where the hard cam was coming from. I was like,
interesting.
So I thought that was kind of interesting because it's one of those ones where the hard cam's in a different spot because of the venue size. And so the hard cam, it's coming from the ramp side, which is interesting.
And you were not spoiled on anything on this show.
No, because we watched it. We didn't watch
pretty
it
close
live,
to live,
but like
wasn't far off.
Better than usual. We would have if
great episode to not be spoiled on.
I agree. We kick off with Mercedes Moné versus Athena in the Owen Hart semifinals, which it's kind of a crazy match to just get on TV, but
I thought in hindsight and before that this is more pay-per-view worthy than some of the stuff we got
for
Dynasty.
I agree, yeah. And you're saying it might top some of Mania too, depending on how things
Quite
go.
possibly, yeah.
I think it could, which I'm sure will be a popular sentiment.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's a sunset flip into the corner from Monet, followed by double knees for 2. Not quite a meteora, but like we could call it that if we want to. Front handspring form into the corner from Athena. Monet does like a tilt whirl into the bank statement, whatever, a statement maker, but I still call it bank statement sometimes. Athena rolls the ropes, but they fall out of the ring and Monet keeps the hold on the floor, so she holds on to that for a little bit. Athena's like laying on the across the middle rope for the double knee spot that she's doing to Sasha Banks, but Monet does different. She drops from the top rope and the double knees to the gut looked brutal
It
for
really
2, which
looked
apparently was on the commercial
rough.
break.
Yeah, that's because I think that's kind of helped this. Not that it needed help, but like it enhanced this match. The fact that we were watching it with no commercials, so it felt even more pay-per-view-y.
And they only went to commercial once in the other match later, right? Because remember they went to commercial once and they were like, we're not going to commercial anymore for the rest of the match,
right?
Which was nice. Like,
Yep, made it feel like a pay-per-view.
Yeah. There's a low pace suicide dive from Athena, really speedy on that. There's a struggle for a tombstone. Monet eventually hits the pile driver. Interesting tornado DT from Monet. She hits another one for a 2 count. Monet with 4 amigos, the consecutive suplexes, then Athena with the consecutive power bombs a la Redacted.
Mm-hmm.
But then Monet counters one into a backbreaker, which was kind of iffy, but kind of cool. Like she didn't get all of it, but it was.
Yep.
The innovation was there. Dream Valley driver a la a different Redacted from Athena for 2.
It's a lot of redacted wrestling people.
Athena hit a shotgun dropkick into the barricade, which looked really good. She went for the Eclipse. Monet counters, and then she rolls Athena up to get the win, which I wasn't really expecting. Like I think I kind of outlined it, and I would have thought Athena would have won without the title on the line.
Yeah, I thought so too. I thought this match was awesome. Not without blemishes. Like there was a couple of things that didn't go exactly as planned. But
yeah, I agree.
I don't think it mattered. I thought the match
really strong women's match on Dynamite for once.
Yeah, lots of good offense from both. It really built. It got 20 minutes? I think it was 21 minutes, and like Athena's ready for the big time, and she has been for quite a while now. I don't know why she's been stuck in Ring of Honor. I know she was the champion. That's great, but
she still is.
The champion of nothing is
still nothing.
She's awesome. So this was terrific, competitive. Could have easily been on a pay-per-view.
Could have gone a couple more minutes if they wanted to. I thought it was really strong for what it was.
It felt important in some way. Because I don't know. I guess
because they kind of teased it. Not really built it isn't the right word, but it's been teased, and so it being in a tournament kind of takes care of building it.
I had high expectations, and it kind of over-delivered. I thought like a really great TV opener.
Yeah. It was really good. There were a couple of minor slip-ups, but the action was really good, and it benefited because I felt, unlike the other match, which I like better, I felt like this one could have gone either way, and I was actually betting on Athena just because of how I thought we could set up a feud between them, but it feels like we're going for Monet and Storm, possibly, which could be good. I'm just disappointed for Athena because for me, if it's Monet versus Storm, there's not really an outcome that I want from that,
right?
Because I think Storm is, like, her character does not work opposite normal people, and Monet, her character can be pretty obnoxious sometimes, so I imagine that feud not being enjoyable. And then in terms of the match outcome, I don't want Storm to remain champion, but I don't want another belt on Monet.
I think they missed a chance here also to get Monet's winning streak over. Again, like you said, she wouldn't lose a belt. You can really make Athena a star right away.
And then you could set up a feud between them and make that the match for All In.
Right.
And it would still be pouring for Monet, but like, it feels like they're kind of discrediting the AEW belt she already has.
I think we need Monet to get this winning streak over with, or it's gonna. The longer it goes, the longer it goes. You know what I mean?
And especially if she's racking up belts too, because like if she beats Storm, she has 5 belts. Like that's just too much.
It's a lot.
Stop.
But awesome match.
Yeah. I'm a little disappointed with the outcome, but it was still a really strong match to start the show.
Was.
Really good stuff.
It's going on. I should pull up my list while you're talking.
List, yeah.
To get it on there.
Then we get an interview with Hangman. He was supposed to talk about his match against the wild card guy, but the Bucks and Okada interrupt him. Nick said the cost were the title for him, and he said he'd help him deal with the Death Riders. Okada asked Hangman why he's always angry and told him to smile more. Hangman gets in his face, and Okada does like his stupid like toothy smile, and he tells him to smile. Hangman leaves, and Okada calls him a bitch. It was so funny.
Of course he had to.
It was solid. I like that the Bucks still think they can manipulate Hangman, even though he's like changed so much, but they think he's still that naive guy, and that they can get in the good books of Death Riders. Like I'm still like it seems like a naive heel thing. I'm still kind of on the fence with it, but I like their dynamic with Hangman kinda.
Yeah.
And Okada was easily my favorite part. He's still really amusing to me.
The Bucks still need to do something a bit more to get me fully on board at this point, and you probably didn't even notice, but they snuck like a good chunk of a prayer into their promo, which is not my favorite thing, but it's kind of also like I was thinking it's not really fair and that Hangman can't prepare for his first round match. Did he complain about that at all?
Nope, they do that most times.
I know.
I don't think he
But
can
still,
complain because
a
he
heel would,
benefited
I
from
guess.
that last year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
he
he-
was the wild card.
And he's the babyface right now.
That too, right? But
Yeah. I don't know. The Bucks
He
are not my
benefited.
favorite thing, but they've still got time to grow on me.
next
so
week we got them against Speedball and Kevin Knight, so
That's cool.
that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Then we get Hangman versus the wild card in a I think it's the last quarterfinal of the tourney, and it is indeed Josh Alexander, no Darby Allin, which is kind of disappointing because I thought that would have been more interesting. And then also we know now who's winning this. Because
Yeah.
with Darby, for me, I think that another interesting thing about that would have been it sows doubt as who's winning.
Yeah.
But I think if anyone but Darby was walking in to lose,
Yeah. I
but
think
it's good to see Josh Alexander here. We love
it
him.
is for sure.
Good Canadian boy.
You were
favorite
wearing his
channel.
shirt on our previous episode. Yeah.
Didn't have his theme though. Oh, he does. I think he kept his theme from Impact, just not the old one that we like.
And speaking of
The North
themes,
theme.
there's more theme stuff coming up this week.
Yeah, so weird.
Really weird.
So weird. Because I noticed it and I was just like, wait a minute. But
And I'm sitting there going, I don't like this theme. And then
I know you don't like it. That's the thing. Is then I remember.
I didn't.
I
place
remember
it,
that
but
you don't like
I don't.
And I used it in one of the trivia things too because you
did.
don't like it.
You did.
Not as much as the Good Brothers one though. That one,
That
I
is
think
my least favorite. Probably.
Is that? Would you say like all time? That's your probably least favorite theme.
pretty close?
It's one of the worst ones. Mine, I'd
It's
have to think
awful.
about it, but that one's pretty bad. And it's funny because the guy who made that, there's a lot of teams I like. Like I think Clark Connors is a really good one.
Yeah.
Juice Robinson's really good. The War Dogs, even the Finn Juice one is all right, but that one's horrible.
It's terrible.
Anyways,
We'll get to it.
shoulder tackle and a big boot from Alexander. Follow slam from Hangman. Alexander gets crushed on the barricade beside the entrance ramp. Hangman runs off the ramp and hits a clothesline to knock him off. That was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Hangman flips out of a German, hits a discus lariat. Backdrop to Alexander on the apron. Orihara moonsault to the outside from Hangman. Pop-up Liger bomb for 2. Moonsault into a tombstone pile driver for 2 from Hangman. Alexander's a front slam on the apron. Does that running crossbody when Hangman's seated on the apron and he comes through the ropes. It's pretty cool. Alexander goes for an ankle lock, but Hangman reverses, wins with a small package, and he gets the win. Fletcher comes out because he will be facing Hangman the next round, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's nuts.
He brawls with Hangman. Hangman catches him with a lariat, lines over the buckshot. Fletcher ducks out. Alexander with a cheap shot from behind and a powerbomb, then a brainbuster from Fletcher to Hangman. And Alexander seems to join up with the Chaos family, which we do get confirmed on Collision.
Right, because I was like, no, he kind of walks away and leaves the rest of them there. So I thought it, but
he's
yeah.
the new one, yeah.
Another really strong match, really good showcase for Alexander debuting. Started off slowly, then really built. The crowd got into it as the match went on, and I thought Alexander got to showcase a lot of his signature stuff.
Yeah,
And he
I'm
is
really
pretty
happy he's
awesome.
here.
Me
I
too.
mean, like, I did want him in NXT more just because I wanted the North, but
Yeah.
honestly, the likelihood they would do that, you don't know.
And in the
so-
family, they're looking pretty cool right now.
I really like that group, so I'm really happy he's there because they, like I said, they had built a solid little roster within that group, and
Yeah.
Alexander's a guy we both really love.
He did lose, unfortunately, in his debut, but
Yeah, which I've seen a lot of people giving them crap for already, and I do kind of get that, and I don't personally love it, but at the same time, it was
the
kind of a
inside
foregone
cradle protects
conclusion.
him a bit, I
I
guess.
think so. It was a bit of a desperation move, right? Like I think it kind of works.
I like the opener better, but this
I
still
think
was
so.
an awesome TV match, I thought.
Yeah, and like this was really good, and it was your third favorite match on the show, right? So
That's right.
that's crazy.
And with Fletcher, like, we've loved him since before he was in AEW when he was a teenager. We've talked about it a million times. We
I
met
love
him.
Fletcher so much. I just
But-
rewatched Fletcher and Orange Cassidy for some reason.
He now has a star quality that wasn't there before, right? His confidence and the way he carries himself, and it's like, and it's almost
and his
like
physique.
with
He's really
as he's
beefed
put on
up,
weight,
too.
his confidence, and like he's just and then him coming out to soften up the winner ahead of his match, like, makes sense, right? So I
He's
thought
just got that look now.
for the million beatdowns after matches we get on AEW, this one makes sense.
Yeah,
because
and there's a
heel.
bit of intrigue too with Alexander
right.
joining them, right? Because obviously he was kind of working heel in the match, but that's just kind of Hangman's a babyface. You know, it's kind of circumstantial, but this kind of establishes him as a heel.
Really good
Right.
match, and I love the Callis family. I told you it feels like an 80s, like this is Heyman with all of his people lined up. Or sorry, Heenan.
Yeah.
With his
Except they're just
group.
more affiliate, because I feel like with the Heenan family, it was always kind of like a loose thing. They just have all the same manager, but they don't always interact. But with the Callis family, it is like more of a close-knit. But still,
that's what I'm
it's the
saying.
same
If you
effect.
get the belt on Ospreay, then you have a bunch of... It can be like Callis's nemesis to try and take this guy down with all of his people.
I mean, even if it ends up being Hangman's now got beef with Fletcher and Alexander, right? So, and then those would also be fresher. No, he'd never forget the first match I ever saw Takeshita was with Hangman. So, I mean, you could even make that deep pull and go there if you want. But anyways, yeah, I agree. It was another strong match. I'm a little disappointed because I thought the Darby would have been a great pull. And no offense to Alexander, I would have rather seen that. But I guess those who picked Alexander were right, because we were like, no, they can't do that, but they did.
We were like, he has to lose, so they can't put him there.
But they did. So it's a shame because he did have to lose like we expected. But he looked good. Like you said, they had a competitive match, and I think he's really sick. I don't think he'd like showed everything he had, because it's not like Speedball where they're bringing him in to win and do whatever, but he still looked strong along the way, and I guess losing a roll-up kind of helps him out.
I'm not sure everybody there knew who he was either.
Maybe not, no, because as soon as I saw the heartbeat on the Tron, I do know, because I know that's like the start of his theme.
Hopefully he impressed people, because I'm not sure everyone knows Josh Alexander's work.
Yeah.
That's in a wrestling crowd.
Yeah, because he comes from TNA, so
exactly.
Case closed. He also seems to be the newest Callis member, which we have had confirmed since then. I'm interested to see how that pans out. Fletcher Hangman sounds fantastic. I thought the beatdown was solid, but I'm just really excited for that, because it's been really nice to see Fletcher improve over the last couple years.
That match will be awesome.
Yeah, that match is gonna be awesome. We're huge fans of him now, and like you said, he's really just coming to his own over the last. Because I watched the match with Cassie, which was probably like not one of his first, but I think he's been appearing in AEW since 2022, so it's been almost 3 years probably. But that was like his first solo match here, I think, or at least the first one where I took notice. And since then, he's won the ROH TV title, which is kind of whatever, but like that kind of gave him some chance to do that. And then the Ospreay feud, I think, is really his turning point. Because I think there's a lot of times where heel turns and whatever, they're kind of hit or miss in AEW sometimes, but I think they handled that one so well with the explanations, and just his promos were so great. And then he had a really good showing in the C2. And he's just been putting on great matches over and over. Like the Briscoe match was fantastic, and that just kind of was just a tournament match, right? And now he's always going to lose to Hangman, but I think having a match against Hangman is still great for him.
He'll look great.
He's going to look great, right? So I'm really happy for him, and Hangman's also my boy.
Yep.
So I'm really excited for that. I feel like that has to be next week, because then you need a couple weeks to really build up the final, especially if it's Hangman and Ospreay. Like, that's just going to be insane, and I'm really excited. Then we get a patriarchy interview. We do. Or promo, whatever. Nick Wayne's talking about who has been in charge of the patriarchy, as if Christian's not there, but he is there now. He asked what Nick meant in the promo the other week when he said he knew why Christian cashed in his title shot, and Nick said that he didn't stick with the plan because he couldn't live with Cope being world champion before him, which I actually really liked. Christian said he wanted Nick to show more confidence, and he was impressed by Nick while he was away. He mentioned getting him to spawn the best of Super Juniors, which is kind of cool that Nick's doing that. It's kind of like the opposite of the Japanese guys going on excursions. So that'll be some cool seasoning for him, I feel like. And he said he'll keep Nick busy before he goes to Japan. He got him a match against Commander for the ROH TV title on Collision, which was the day after this, which he did end up winning. He said he'll bring the title back to the patriarchy, and he'll do it by himself. And then he slapped Nick and left. I liked what Nick said about the cash in. I was saying to you, if it was to try to get the title before Copeland, I kind of like that. They're kind of saving that finish, right?
That is nice, yes.
In retrospect, I think it's kind of smart. Like, it doesn't completely save, because at the end of the day, it did make Christian look kind of dumb, but like I said, this kind of fixes it for me almost. Like, it just, because Christian is the kind of guy to do that.
Yes.
So I think that kind of works, and I like that it's a little late, but at least I do like that they're kind of I guess you could call it a retcon, but at least they're kind of retroactively fixing that. I thought Nick sounded good here, and
Because it did bother me in the moment, when
right,
he
and so I
cashed
feel like
in.
they're kind of
Yeah,
fixing it.
it doesn't hurt.
I feel like we're giving him the ROH TV title as a test title run, which seems kind of jokish because it's ROH. But like I was just saying, that belt was Fletcher's starting point, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's a decent idea, and he did win the belt, so hopefully that gives him some time to just kind of flourish on his own. That in the Super Juniors tournament, because he's got a lot of promise for sure.
He does. And I think he sounds pretty good now, too. A lot
I
better
agree.
than
I
he
think
did.
he's kind of finding his confidence as well. Not like to the degree of Fletcher, but in a
No.
similar manner as what
Mhm.
you're saying. He's kind of finding himself slowly.
Yeah.
And I think once they split from Christian 2, that'll be really a sink or swim for him, which will be interesting. I saw there was chants on Collision when he was wrestling Commander. It was instead of like whose house, Swerve's house, I think they were saying who's hot, Nick's mom, which I thought was pretty funny. But like I think he sounds really good here. I think he has done pretty well while Christian's been kind of absent.
Yeah.
And whatever the storyline is, I think Nick Wayne's been looking good.
I
Kip
like-
Sabian's just been there.
I like it from the standpoint of it's like Nick Wayne is starting to like wriggle out from under Christian's thumb, right? It's by standing up to him and like Christian would say stepping
And
out of
calling
line
him
probably.
out for
But then Christian has found a way to like get him back in by going like, I got you these two amazing
opportunities, yeah.
So Nick wanting those opportunities, kind of like, okay, so now he's kind of reeled me back in again, right? It's like, so I
He's
kind of
kinda
liked
keeping
it
him
from
on a
that
leash, yeah.
standpoint.
I like that.
Nick can't leave as long as Christian's really helping him with his career, and Christian knows that, so that's why he's doing that.
Yeah.
Right?
I
So
like
I
that,
liked
for
it, yeah.
sure.
There was hardly any segments on this show, and I like this one.
Yeah, this one was good. We get a recap of FTR on Collision, which we did actually watch.
We watched a lot of Collision.
We watched most of it from last week. We watched half of the one this
Yeah.
week. We didn't actually
We're
end up
Collision
watching
guys
it.
now. No, just kidding. Not really.
Let's not start.
But
that.
there's been stuff when there's stuff
When there's
on
stuff
there
that's
we
good.
want to see.
I saw
we'll
next
see
week
it.
they have Top Flight against Crew in a tornado tag, which that could
that'd
be
be
pretty
fun.
dope.
Yeah,
And we did watch all of Collision, or at least all the C2 matches last year.
we did.
We actually kept up with C2
We stuck
really
it
well.
out.
So
We did.
we'll have
Crushed
to
it.
do that again this year. Then we get the Hurt Syndicate versus the Gates of Agony for the tag titles.
Why are you laughing about Gates of Agony? I like Gates of Agony. How dare you?
I like Gates of Agony,
I like their look. I think their entrance is cool.
and I would never disrespect a real life Prince.
They could be part of a thriving tag division, but there isn't one, so they are what they are on relegated to ROH.
I
guess.
also don't think they're really character wise. They don't thrive on their own.
No,
Like without Nana or someone with them, I feel like that's also what's holding them back. As I think in the ring, they're pretty good, but they have a really cool look, both of them. I thought Khan with his mask and the poncho had a really
I quite
badass
like
look.
Leona most of the time.
Leona's I think is really interesting. I think Khan is really cool too.
Yes.
But I think they need some sort of manager. Like honestly, they could have been a good Haas tag team for Callis if they didn't have the Murder Machinies.
Right. Already.
Or Machines, I don't know. However you want.
Machinist.
Machinists. But yeah, I do like them. It's just kind of, it's one of those. It's like when they dust off Archer for matches, or when they dust off, someone of that kind.
It 100%
right?
is. But they're
So,
cool.
It's a decent TV defense for the Hurt Syndicate, I guess, and it's definitely one of those get to an angle after kind of things.
Yeah, it was. I thought MVP did a good job on commentary of really trying to put over Gates of Agony a bit.
I thought you did too, because I remember he did a good job of that when Private Party lost the belts.
He's a pro man. He knows what he's doing.
He knows what he's doing, 100%. Leona hit Shelton with a hip attack in the corner. Khan falls with a double knees gimmick infringement on Monet in the opener. Flatliner Khan from Lashley. Leona batters Lashley's multiple corner lariats. Lashley gets him in the hurt lock. Khan comes in with a boot. A nasty super kick to Khan from Shelton, and a crazy high release German, because, Shelton's going bananas. Lashley spears Leona on the floor. Khan gets hit with the rising corner knee and the spear. Syndicate pin him to retain. After the match, MJF does come out. He congratulates them on their win. Says he brings a lot to the table, and saying MVP knows this, but some of them are slow learners, and Lashley got kind of pressed there. He calms him down. MVP said he had talent, or MVP claimed. Sorry, it says MVP claimed. I think MJF claimed that he had talent in the back, so he brings out a bunch of women. When the music played, the Hurt Syndicate's theme just played again to bring them out. MJF said they can have a night with the ladies if he gets the 3 thumbs up that he didn't get the other week. He asked Shelton and Bobby to try it one more time. MVP obviously votes thumbs up once again. Shelton's kind of checking out the girls. He's thinking about it. He said it's all nice. He thinks he needs a little more time. MJF asked him what he means. He says he needs a little more time while pointing at his wrist, so he wants MJF's watch, and he gets that as well. He's about to give a thumbs up. Lashley's kind of giving him a look, so Shelton puts his thumb down again. MJF says he respects the vote and the power of the people. He said he thinks he's growing on Shelton. As a token of his appreciation, he will give Shelton the watch, so he does. He's told Shelton he can have the latest menu when MJF joins the Hurt Syndicate. There will be plenty more watches than women, where that came from. He said Lashley is known as the Almighty, and MJF is known for getting what he wants, and he's better than you, and you know it. And then they left, yada yada.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Match wise, Toa slipped a couple times,
He
right?
did.
But
yeah, it wasn't perfect. Like, he did slip up a couple times, but they were solid other than that.
I thought he hit some good offense, and
they're cool. They just never stood a chance, right?
They got in quite a bit though, more than I expected, and I think that's helpful for them. And also,
it's a bit of a hoss fight.
And also, yeah, like it doesn't hurt Syndicate to be like you kind of out hossed another really big team, right? And so like Gates of Agony are pretty good and pretty tough, but at the end, Hurt Syndicate still win decisively, so that's good for them too. Kind of like everybody wins, I guess. Gates of Agony,
except for Gates of Agony,
but they got
some
time again. They got the most offense against Hurt Syndicate on TV, probably.
Yeah,
I would say so far. And as for the aftermath, it's kind of weird. It feels like MJF's kind of shifting from, does he really want to be in the Hurt Syndicate, or now he seems to be just trying to drive a wedge because he's really sucking up to Shelton Benjamin and really being rude to Lashley. That's not a guy who's trying to earn a vote to get in a thing. That's a guy who's screwing with people, which is MJF.
Yeah, okay, I didn't really consider that, which is interesting. Cause like now,
why are you going out of your way to insult Lashley like 4 times?
I've heard some people say we're building MJF Lashley, which I don't think I really want.
No, we are. I'm pretty confident.
Who's the heel in that scenario?
Which is too bad because part of the reason
MJF.
Part of the reason I like Lashley better is because they're not trying to push him as a singles monster. He's great in this tag team, and he doesn't need to do more than this. Although he was probably promised more than that when he signed.
Yeah, it just seems weird to me. I don't like the angles. Like, this segment was fine. It's just the angle. It's like we were saying.
I don't understand MJF's motivations.
I don't understand these motivations. Honestly, less so than the Death Riders.
Well, now it seems like he's trying to mess with Lashley.
Yeah,
because that was a lot of this segment, like basically saying he's dumb and whatever else too, while like doting on Benjamin, right? So. That's not the behavior of a guy trying to earn a guy's vote.
I agree, and I don't like that in the Syndicate because like I said, I feel like they're a group that's kind of above that kind of.
Yeah,
I don't think it's actually causing tension between them because I think at the end of the day they're on the same page, but it's just like
I just worry the sooner Lashley's single stuff starts, the less tag team that we're gonna get, and I think they're perfect.
We screw Shelton
in tag team right now.
Yeah, and it's like we were saying before. There's not really a way with this where I'm like thrilled.
No.
There's not really an outcome where I'm like...
Agree.
Looking forward to
the payoff is not going to be anything I
still think it's just an odd way to take MJF after the Hangman feud, which was so great, and it was cut so short. So it just doesn't make sense to me.
Me either.
Then we got Hurt Syndicate promo backstage after, because I think we took a commercial break and came back with it.
Yeah.
They were about to get interview backstage. MVP stopped it, and he said they could use MJF to get what they want from a business perspective, and Lashley seemed open to that. And then they left with the ladies. I kind of like this angle because then it's like it kind of makes sense for them to use MJ for gain, because if he's getting them all this stuff and doing this stuff for them, they can just kind of take advantage of it and cast them aside. But then it's like I feel like that'll turn into them warming up to him and him joining, which I don't really want. And it's like I just don't understand what we're doing.
Is he suggesting that they could use like a token white guy to open doors for them in wrestling too?
I mean, that could also work. And
right?
I
like, he'd be the kind of guy going, listen, man, unfortunately, I mean, it kind of shines a light on some of the darkness of wrestling, though, so they might not do that in an angle. And kind of
defeats the purpose of the black faction.
Right, but like, I'm the final piece, I can get doors open for you, I can take meetings you guys can't.
Like, at what point do they discard him, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So I don't know. It's weird.
Me either.
It's just weird. It's not bad. It's just weird.
Yeah, I agree.
Then we get to Will Ospreay versus Konosuke Takeshita in the Owen Turney semifinal.
Mm-hmm.
What a thing this is.
We had high hopes for this one.
Yeah, as I always do. Some notables. Ospreay went for the handspring corkscrew kick. Takeshita ducks, came back with his leaping lariat, the so creatively named Takeshita line.
I know, I hate that.
Fireman's carry, drop, and a single leg drop kick from Takeshita, then a tope con hilo to the outside. Loud chops from Ospreay. Takeshita fires back with a boot and a lariat. Takeshita exploder suplex. Ospreay powers through, fires back up. Takeshita hits a huge one for a 2 count. Ospreay counters a top rope move from Takeshita into a super stun dog millionaire. They both roll out. Oz cutter on the ramp. Then back in the ring, springboard drop kick from Ospreay and the leap of faith, which is that like moonsault corkscrew senton. It's crazy looking.
Is that the one commentary got wrong?
They either call
Sky
it
Twister?
No, because that's what they called it. Because the Sky Twister is the corkscrew moonsault that he does to the outside, right?
I just know that you
and
don't like when they mess it
Excalibur's
up.
also calls it the Cancun Tornado before, which if that's like his new name for it, that's fair because I don't think that's a different move. But I know the Sky Twister is something else. You know what I mean? And this is not a made in Japan thing. I know I'm right. Ospreay went for an Oz cutter. Takeshita tries to counter into a blue thunderbomb like he did before, but Ospreay counters that into a head scissors midair, and then he hits an Oz cutter for 2. Strike exchange. Ospreay hits a couple boots. Takeshita catches the third, levels him with a brutal forearm because he does it better than anybody else. Another forearm, and then a beautiful blue thunder bomb from Takeshita for 2. Ospreay flips out of a clothesline, then goes for an Oz cutter, gets annihilated by a forearm midair, kicks out at 1, hidden blade. Takeshita kicks out at 1 and fires up.
Crowd's nuts at this
Ospreay
point.
does the bastard driver German combo to Takeshita, which he usually does. Then Takeshita hits a hidden blade to him, and they're both down. Takeshita hits that avalanche lariat he used to do a lot. Ospreay lands on his feet, hits a hidden blade for a near fall. Ospreay goes for another. Takeshita blocks with a jumping knee, goes for a raging fire. Ospreay counters in Hurricane Rana, falls with a Styles Clash for a near fall. Then Takeshita counters hidden blade into a backslide, kick out. Right away, power drive knee. Then he runs for a lariat. Ospreay floats over, hits a really clean Stormbreaker, and picks up the win.
Incredible match. I mean,
actually insane.
There could be a better TV match this year, but I
don't
I hope there is because it'll be amazing.
I'd love to see them try.
But I thought this was like a 20-minute masterpiece and just captivated a crowd, even though I think everyone knew who was winning this.
I
couldn't care less in the midst of it, right?
But they kind of made me buy it towards the end.
Very easily pay-per-view quality match. 2 incredible talents, 2 of our favorites. And turns out they work really well together, right? What a surprise. Yes, really, like you're saying, really good near falls, even though I know who's winning. I like the kickouts at 1. I know there's people who will complain. I think there was a level of drama to this that only like the top people.
Yeah.
These 2,
and
Kenny
the
Omega
crowd
can do it.
So
yes.
It reached a fever pitch towards the end.
Everything's so impactful, so crisp, so clean. Just a pleasure. I thought the opener, Athena Monet, was a great match. I thought this was considerably better, so that's crazy. And then our thoughts were the same, like, good luck to the main event.
Yeah.
That's right after this.
Instant classic. My front runner for TV match of the year easily. These guys are just magic together. The action was just amazing the entire time. Some callbacks to their first match. The last portion of this reached a crazy pace, and I had a tough time keeping up with my notes. I think we rewound a couple times. Takeshita looked great again. He kicked at us so much. I almost thought he had a chance too. There were so many things where I was audibly reacting, and they both just keep pulling stuff out over and over and over. The final minutes are truly something else. Like, I watched this match again today, and I was still blown away by just how much they did and how crazy it got. Like, these guys are so amazing. Just the things they do, how well they do them. I thought it was awesome. I think even though it was a TV match, it fully lived up to the first match they had from Revolution last year, which I think was still a little better. But that's not to take away from this. This was easily pay-per-view worthy.
Oh, yeah.
And they knocked it out of the park like I knew
loved
they
it.
would.
I would go back and watch this myself, and I don't do that a ton. I know you already did.
I love this so much because these guys are my favorites for a reason. They're so great, and I'm like, they have easy chemistry together. Which is great because like them and Fletcher are easily my favorites to watch right now. Ospreay's got crazy chemistry with both of them.
They're great.
One day I hope to see Takeshita and Fletcher go at it somehow. They did not disappoint in this.
Not at all.
They got the time they needed to. Like, it felt like it got the time. Honestly, this could have been the main event, and I would have gone home happy. It not just an amazing TV match like you were saying, but a fantastic match. Period. It's easily frontrunner for TV match of the year, and it's probably good enough for the general men's category as it stands right now. Because the only reason it's not frontrunner for that is because Revolution had some insane matches.
That's true.
But this was absolutely fantastic, and this tournament is not put a bad foot forward. Because I thought Ospreay versus Kevin Knight was dope. Fletcher and Briscoe was awesome. Takeshita
Awesome.
Brody King was pretty good. Hangman Alexander was good. And this was awesome. Easily match of the tournament. I think the only thing that can beat it is Hangman and Ospreay.
I hope so.
Maybe Hangman and Fletcher, but probably Hangman Ospreay. This was just fantastic.
It was.
Like,
if you didn't see it, go see it. Go
I
find
haven't
it.
been this happy with the TV match like in a bit. I maybe since like the last one I remember that was really crazy was Ospreay and Darby, I think, in the C2, because that one I remember that one sequence that was really crazy, and that one actually had a surprise result because Darby beat Ospreay.
Right.
But this was just fantastic, and
Yep.
this is the kind of thing that's like, this is why I need AEW.
Yes, you're not getting this.
I'm not
on
getting
Raw.
this anywhere else, or not getting on main roster. Don't get on NXT anymore.
No.
That TNA is not going to give it to you. New Japan's a shell of its former self.
And there's several combinations where you'll get this on AEW.
Yeah, this was fantastic. Then we get the poor main event, which is Death Riders versus the Ops. Good luck to them, because it's an unenviable task. Mox is filling in for Pac because he's out. So let's talk about that real quick.
Oh, here we go.
I actually forgot about this too, and then until I saw someone point on Instagram, I was like, oh yeah. So AEW's forgetting their own recent history, because last year, the Bang Bang Gang are the Trios champions, the Unified Trios champions, and they can't defend it under the Freebird rule because they have 4 guys.
Will Washington. Listen up.
They have 4 guys. Jay White gets injured, and they want Juice Robinson to defend the titles for them. But then Christopher Daniels walks his ass out there, and he's like, no, you guys can't do that. I'm vacating the titles, and you can have a match for the titles against the Patriarchy. And then they lost that. But now, the Death Riders, who coincidentally also have 4 guys, one gets injured, Mox can just sub in like that. What?
I know. Well, and
like,
Hook got injured.
But at least they're challenging for the belts, so it's not like they've held the belts yet.
I guess.
So it's like, it's just stupid, because why did Bang Bang Gang get screwed over? It's like they don't want me to have that faction like I want it, because someone's always injured, and then you can't give them the title run.
Or turn them babyface.
Or you turn them babyface, which doesn't actually suck. It only sucks when it's with Billy Gunn.
It's just not as good, though.
It's just not as good. But so that's kind of bothersome to me. At least it was only for the one match here, but it's just like, follow your own rules, guys.
Spoiler.
Come on. Then yeah, Hobbs is filling in for Hook, because Hook is out. He's not concussed, I saw.
I don't know what.
I don't know what the deal is, because yeah, he was like puking after Dynamite the other week. I don't know.
Sick boy.
Anyways, crowd is chanting not very nice things at Wheeler Yuta. He's been getting a lot of heat lately.
And the
really
one was
funny.
in his hometown too.
Yeah,
which is interesting.
I've noticed it ever since then, actually. Yeah. Shibata chops Claudio, gets flattened by a lariat. Shibata with the back heel trip to Claudio. Hot take out to Joe, who goes on a tear. A wicked scoop power slam to Yuta, just like really snappy.
Really snappy.
Gets a 2 count. Mox broke that pin. Big diving shotgun dropkick to Joe from Yuta before a parade of moves. Everyone's getting something in there. The Bucks come down and interfere. Swerve jumps off the barricade with the swerve stomp to take them both out. Shibata locks Claudio in a sleeper on the ramp, clogs him with the PK, and then chokes him out again. Yuta tries to dive onto Hobbs, but gets caught, slammed hard on the announce table. Willow wipes out Shafir. Joe counters the Death Rider and actually chokes out Mox with the Coquina Clutch and gets the win. Big babyface celebration in the ring, and based on Collision, it seems like we're going towards Joe versus Mox.
I think so, right? On a minor pay-per-view or TV?
It's not a minor pay-per-view. It'll be Double or Nothing. That's like a big one.
I guess so. By minor, I kind of mean not all in.
Yeah.
Good trios match. Just put in a really tough spot following like an all-time.
Really tough spot.
TV
they didn't have a prayer following,
but I thought
it was a pretty good match.
Me too. Surprise title change to end the show is
feel
cool.
good ending, right?
Sends the crowd home happy.
The big babyface celebration in the ring was certainly something.
And they love Joe, and I think they're also generally out on Death Rider, so this is kind of a smart shift, I think. And yes, Joe choking out Mox is not what I expected, but and I'm just curious what it means for Hobbs right now. Does he
honestly, I think
stay the title holder though, or is Hook back in 2 weeks and he gets the belt?
I just feel like they keep it on Hobbs. Honestly, Hobbs and the Ops, I'm okay with.
I think so too.
Because Joe, Hook, and Shibata kind of all have that MMA-ish style, so Hobbs is a little bit of an outlier. But if you just make it a
powerhouse,
okay, all right. I still think they should call him Will Hobbs and do the willpower thing.
Willpower Hobbs, yeah.
Not as his name, but as his slogan or catchphrase, that'd be genius. But anyways, I think Hobbs could just fit there if it's just a group of badass dudes, which I think is kind of the point Joe's trying to get with the name of the Ops, whatever, which is still kind of weird, but
don't like it, but
it's wearing on.
Sorry, Smojo. You know? I love everything you do.
It's wearing on me, and I think Hobbs we've been really liking this year, so I'm just happy for him because I do enjoy him.
I think he's cool, yeah.
And he has some history with the Death Riders recently because he won the
Mhm.
thingy-majiggy and then got the title shot
Mhm.
right at Maximum Carnage.
Yeah.
So
Maximum
it
Carnage.
works on that level. Action was solid. We had some furthering with the Swerve and Bucks angle. So I kind of like that little touch because the Bucks are still trying to get in their good graces. They try to help. Swerve gets involved, so that's still setting up whatever's going on there. I feel like it will be Swerve and Omega against them because I feel like Hangman's gonna be occupied.
Feels like it.
Which sucks because like Swerve and Hangman against the Bucks could be so good. I mean, we could still do that, but it's just I'm impatient. I'm surprised Joe and the boys actually got the job done, but
Me
good
too.
for them. And I pray for the trio's renaissance.
Me too. Always.
We still got Undisputed Kingdom kicking around or Undisputed Era.
No Kingdom.
Not Paragon. I'm not
Paragon.
calling them that.
It's better than Kingdom.
I'm happy for Joe to get another title too.
Me too.
First for Shabbat and Hobbs, good for them. Like Joe's actually decently decorated now because think about it. He since coming to AEW, he had the longest ROH TV title run. He held the TNT title twice when he was King of TV.
Yep.
In the two belts,
which we loved,
which was great. He was world champion, which we also loved, and then he's held this. So he's held most of the belts
because he's the best. Love
He's
Joe.
just missing tag titles and the international title, but like his resume in terms of variety is pretty good considering the amount of time he's been there. Like Cole's been there a year longer than him just about, and he's only won his first title now, but like Joe's been around the block.
It's indicative of the fact that guy can do whatever you want him to do.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
And
he
he's
can do it
such
all.
Great value just for whatever.
He is.
And so yeah, this was a good moment, a good match. And actually like it was just a good way to end the show, I feel like.
I agree. This felt like a short 5-match pay-per-view. We got one incredible match in Ospreay Takeshita, one I would say excellent match in Athena Monet,
and then a couple good ones.
0 bad matches. Very strong. We get a debut of Josh Alexander, a major star, right?
And a title change.
You get a surprise title change at the end with baby faces winning. You get a patriarchy segment I really liked. So.
And the Hertzig angle stuff is solid. Like, it's not bad.
And Hangman Alexander's a really good match and is the 3rd best match on a TV show. So easy A, I thought. I don't know what an A+ will look like, but I'll know it when I see it, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
But yeah, A, close to A+.
Yeah, I've seen the sentiment go around. I think I agree. Like, because some people said that AEW nailed this show because they could have gone out there and been petty and bragged and made a whole thing about being Nitro, but like, it feels like they just kind of went out there and put on a show that reminds everyone why they deserve to be here and why that they're still running. I think this was a show that really encapsulates why AEW is necessary and
it's
why
the company of in-ring stuff you can count on.
And there's still good story beats, but they're the company that does in-ring excellence better than anybody.
I agree.
Athena Monet had one of the best women's matches of the year so far. It was really stellar and still not the best match on the show. Alexander was a really great signing, a cool surprise, and had an immediate cracker against Hangman. A good match, but still not the best on the show. We had some solid tag wrestling with the Syndicate and angle progression, which was like, it's confusing, but it's not a bad segment. And that somewhere along the line, I forget where it was, but like you said, the patriarchy segment I really liked. And the tag match also still it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Then Ospreay and Takeshita delivered an instant match of the year contender, just a match that embodies why AEW is necessary to me. Just such a great match, just instantly just in awe of that. The main event couldn't follow, but it was honestly still good and delivered a good moment with the title change at the end. So it was just kind of feel good. Not a lot of segments, but the small ones we had were good because we had like Hangman, Syndicate, Patriarchy. It was all good. Nothing bad here.
Nothing bad.
I'm going to put it at an A. I think like if we had a major angle in place of maybe the tag title match, then it gets bumped up. But
yeah.
I think that's also easier to do when we're building a pay-per-view, which I think we're going to start.
Your show ratings aren't infinite.
So yeah, there's that too.
Yeah. Awesome
but
show.
This was a really stellar effort.
Yes, it was awesome. We're a sucker for tournament format stuff in AEW because they have so much talent that you inevitable great matches.
And it's easy stakes too. I guess like I'll note it for like if we do. I think we usually do TV special, but I don't remember.
That's a good one. All right, so now we'll take a little break from the analysis, tackle some trivia. It's what we call off the top of his head. It's Ultimate Wrestlemania Quiz Hard Mode.
That Maximum Carnage sounding loud.
You ready? That was my voiceover, my movie guy, trailer guy voice. Okay, so I looked at some of these. I got some, not many, but I think you'll do well. So it's 15 questions. I'm going reverse order because I don't know if they ended with the hardest one, but that's just how I'm doing it. Who was the first WWE Hall of Famer to be inducted at a WrestleMania event? I can give you a hint of the year if you want.
Sure.
1991, WrestleMania 7. Would it help you if I say inducted posthumously?
I don't even know what that word means.
He was dead when it happened, no longer living.
Andre?
Correct.
I thought it was Andre, but I thought
Very
he got
good.
inducted earlier.
14. Which two WrestleMania main events featured Roman Reigns challenging for the WWE Universal / World title before he finally won it at 38?
31 and 34.
Okay. And
and 32.
Correct. They have 31, 34.
Well, he challenged for it at 31 against Brock, redacted, but then Rollins cashed in, so he lost. 32, he challenged Triple H for it and won it. 33, he didn't. 34, he lost.
They did not have 32 in there. They just have the redacted. 2 redacted. All right, next. Who did Redacted face in his WrestleMania debut?
Kirk Angel.
Correct. When, do you know when it was?
19. 2003.
Correct. That is correct.
Main event. It was the Shooting Star Press match.
Oh, Ray almost broke his neck. At WrestleMania 20, or XX if you will, which two wrestlers ended the night as world champions and shared an emotional celebration that was later erased from WWE history?
It was Dominic Mysterio's biological father, technically speaking, and Redacted.
Another Redacted. I remember that was an awesome night, like obviously.
But like now between that and then the Goldberg match that was horrible, they basically act like the only thing that happened was Taker versus Kane, and then I guess Guerrero and Angle. But like they ignore most of that show
from the world. Who was the first? Sorry, who was in the first ever ladder match at WrestleMania?
Michaels and Razor.
It was that one, right?
They also call it the first ladder match, but like I think it was 92 or something. Brett and Sean had one on like Superstars.
And this was 94, right? WrestleMania 10
or X.
Correct. Sorry. Who was the first WWE superstar to win back-to-back Money in the Bank ladder matches at WrestleMania?
Only one, and it was Chicago Man Phil.
And what years?
08 and 09.
Which is WrestleMania what and what?
24 and 25, which is the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania, according to them.
That's right. I really miss my "you are a huge nerd" button right now. What is the shortest match in WrestleMania history?
Rock versus Eric Rowan.
How long?
6 seconds.
Which WrestleMania?
32.
What year?
2016.
That was turning each one into like rapid fire now.
Yeah, we'll see. Let's see how many times you can pull that off.
What wrestler did Shawn Michaels retire at WrestleMania 26? Go ahead, because their answer
he retired.
So
he was the one who retired.
Good. So they're tricking you now. It says, actually, it was the reverse. Shawn Michaels retired after losing to The Undertaker.
Yeah, okay.
They're really messing with you here.
Yeah, no. I was like, no.
That's funny.
Well, because I thought you were going to ask me, who do you retire at Mania 24? Ric Flair.
Right. That's what as soon as it was retire, I was like, oh, it's Ric Flair. I love you. I'm sorry.
And then I was like, no, he retired. Okay. Because if it was AI, I was going to be like, honestly, that question, this is AI?
AI is messing with you.
Oh, okay.
I love that.
I don't like that. They're getting smart.
Which celebrity guest appeared in the most WrestleMania events as of 2024? Celebrity guest. Most events. Now, I feel I must say they are including Hall of Fame appearance.
Heroes?
No. Okay, I'll give you WrestleMania 1, 2, and the Hall of Fame at XXX.
Hogan?
No.
Wait.
Celebrity.
Oh, right. My bad.
So you're in the right, bit. Think celebrity with Hogan, then. That'll help you.
Mr. T?
Correct.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
I pity the fool.
At WrestleMania 3, what was the real-life attendance number announced? And what was the number they claimed?
Didn't they announce 90-something?
So they announced
93?
93,173.
Let's go.
And the real life was
78.
Exactly. Why? You need to make room for other knowledge up there. I say that all the time. Which two WrestleManias featured Bret Hitman Hart in the main event title match, and he walked away as champion?
Walked away as champion in the main event.
Mm-hmm. According to
10.
them. Yes. And
I don't think there's another one.
They are saying there is. I do like that they said Bret Hitman and not the Hitman. Yes?
No.
Why?
because that's when he did the Iron Man match with Shawn and lost in overtime. So he
Did he?
didn't walk out as champion. Are you saying walk in or walked out? Walked out, right?
And walked away.
Yeah, so no.
Okay. Who was the first wrestler to kick out of the Tombstone Piledriver at WrestleMania?
Edge.
No, well, not according to them.
Shawn Michaels.
But now their credibility is shot. They're saying WrestleMania 14. XIV.
Oh, Kane?
Yes, that's what they're
I
saying.
could see that.
Which WrestleMania featured the first ever women's match? There's a tough one to main event the show.
35.
Correct.
2019.
Who was it?
Ronda, Becky, Charlotte.
I was gonna say, I don't know why my instinct was to refer to Ronda as redacted. She hasn't done anything.
Charlotte came in with a helicopter.
I'm like MMA person. Redacted.
Just instinctual now.
Who was The Undertaker's 21st WrestleMania victim before his streak was broken?
CM Punk.
At what Mania?
29.
In what year?
2013.
Last one. At which WrestleMania did Macho Man Savage compete in 4 matches in a single night?
WrestleMania 4.
What year?
88.
Why was he wrestling for?
The tournament for the vacant title.
Who did he beat? This is where we get him. So dumb.
DiBiase.
Correct. We were talking about Doom not long ago.
Butch Reed.
Correct.
Jake Roberts.
No. He had one of the worst gimmick changes ever, probably.
Terry Taylor.
Big guy.
Akeem. One Man Gang.
Correct. And Greg Valentine.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. You did really well. And each question became like 4 or 5, and you still did well. Okay, we'll go back to talking wrestling. It's other notable stuff from NXT and Raw this week. It is Highspots and Restholds. Starting with Raw, I told you I thought Raw was a pretty big waste of time this week, and that it was just kind of like everyone taking turns saying they're going to win kind of thing, you know what I mean? Like I don't feel a lot was really moved forward or furthered, like they were pretty much set, and it was a lot of lengthy recaps ahead of Mania, ads for Stephanie's latest projects that I skipped through. Lengthy rundown of the card. Felt like new content was like less than an hour is what I would guess it felt to me. Gunther starts out basically a good promo to start, and I think he's trying to play the role of he's a little nervous now and trying to hide it because Jey Uso's locked in and ready to go.
He's not eating anymore.
But anyways, he says screw Jey Uso and his fans. He's been the champion for 80% of his time in WWE, which is probably true.
I've seen that statistic, yeah, because he's UK champion for a ridiculous amount of time.
Right.
Then he was Intercontinental champion for a ridiculous amount of time. He's held this belt for a decent amount of time.
As he should be.
Yeah.
And then he says Jay's new confidence won't matter because the bell still has to ring, which I thought was a good way of putting it. Gunther said if he's in control, and if he wasn't, he would have drowned both Jay and Jimmy in Jimmy's blood. He's looking forward to calling his mother to tell her how much he enjoyed beating the hell out of Jey Uso, and he will remain World Heavyweight Champion. So again, good heel promo. It's about everyone's just talking about how they're going to win their match at Mania, but I think he's trying to showcase a little bit of, oh crap, Jimmy's serious now.
Jay.
Sorry. Wow. Yeah. Jay. Then we get Bianca Belair in a pre-recorded thing. All 3 of them in this match get a chance. She tells us we're getting a different side of her, right? Which I thought was her kind of going, okay, I'm the heel in this one, guys.
And she got booed on SmackDown.
Even though Ripley is like the most, I find the least likable in this scenario.
But
she's never lost at Mania, so she'll win. Fine, short little promo. It doesn't add much again. Just like clarifying, I am the heel here, people. Bayley beat Liv with help from Lyra Valkyria. I think it was Raquel was trying to get involved probably repeatedly. So it was Lyra grabbed. Oh, yes. Liv was going for the.
She held Bayley on the ropes for the stupid finisher. Yeah.
And then Bayley catches a roll up and wins after 11 minutes. Fine match. So I think in my preview, right, I picked Bayley and Lyra to win. And then I'm sure Bayley and Lyra have some sort of issue down the road. And Bayley turns heel. And they feud for that title. But anyways. Ripley gets her turn to talk. She says she sees through Bianca Belair and that Io should cherish every moment with the title. She can't wait to make Bianca feel what it's like when Ripley is the bad guy.
She should be.
Yes. And again, Belair and Ripley are treating Io like an afterthought. They're talking to each other.
Still, yeah.
And it's just like, again, Io should win here, but I didn't pick her. But
I didn't.
But that just kind of makes sense from the story they're telling. Anyways, bugs me. I talked about it a lot. Rey Mysterio beat Julius Creed in 10 minutes with 619 and the dime drop. And so oh yeah, he shoved Julius into Americano, who had gotten up on the apron to knock him off the apron. Did you see the spot in this? You know how Ray does that on his belly slide out of the ring?
Yes.
So Julius was supposed to catch him in like a suplex position. So they botched it, and it ended up almost looking better because then he basically deadlifted Rey Mysterio from his knees into a suplex position, stood up, and then walked over up the steps into
I
the
did
ring.
see him walking with that. I don't know if I saw the exact whole thing.
They probably didn't they probably cut that out because it didn't go as planned, but it still looked damn impressive.
I mean, Julius is a freak. So.
Julius is a freak. Really good TV match with a good contrast in size and style here, right? I think Julius deserves better because this is where his career is right now. Like, I think that guy's a single star probably. He needs some character help. He needs to. I could see him like send him back to NXT, honestly, and give him a run as a major champion and let him work on a character.
Champs, though. They could be like,
I know
they could be that team angle that they never had,
but
because they never really capitalized on that.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
And then Americano takes out LWO with his loaded mask because that's a thing, I guess now. It's going to be a regular occurrence, I think. And War Raiders, guess what? They say they're going to beat the New Day. Since New Day tried to end Eric's career, it's not a match now. It's war. And that's kind of where we're at with it.
Something tells me it's still just a match.
And there's not a lot of heat to this feud again. WWE
do at least
dropped
the
ball
Viking rules, because I know they like that one actually has some presentation.
Bowling balls into the nuts and stuff.
Yeah, and the shield and like the ship part gets attached to the ring, so it's kind of like the ring level ramp. It does actually add something to the match, and like at least it'd be kind of interesting. I mean, you have a street fight already, but like different nights.
Yes, and it's just kind of further evidence they don't care much about the tag division because this is for the tag titles, and it's like kind of an afterthought story going into your major pay-per-view.
It's one of those ones that feels tacked onto the card for sure.
It does.
And the women's tag title match especially feel like that to me.
And New Day's responding to this. It's basically thank God for the New Day at the end. They say they're going to win.
What do they think they're going to win?
They do think they're going to win.
Really?
AJ Styles beat Karrion Kross in 8 minutes with a phenomenal forearm.
But he sacrificed himself.
Is that what it is?
He put his hands behind his back.
Oh, did he?
Forearm. He did.
Huh. I don't know if I caught that.
And I saw him do the injury fake thing. I still don't think the world of him as a wrestler, but at least Kross is being interesting.
But what is his thing right now? That he's like a catalyst for other people's feuds? Or
I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah,
though.
I don't hate
it. He's
it.
Trying to bust out an aggressive AJ for Mania, I guess. Like
that's what it feels like.
I'm interested to see what his end game is, but at least it's something interesting.
He's like, you can't lose was what he was
saying.
Because
like if this was the Kross that we had in NXT, maybe I would have cared a little more.
Logan Paul comes out. He and AJ go back and forth a bit. Paul ends up hitting his pulverizer, and it looks freaking awesome again. And I don't want to like it that much, but it's really cool.
It's
really
cool.
And with someone as fluid as AJ, because AJ's like
he's hit on AJ and Ray at least, right?
Because the opponent is doing some of the work here, right, to get over for that.
Yeah, because he's not hitting that on like
who better than AJ to do that?
Yeah,
for you?
He's not hitting that on someone larger, but I think most of the roster will be fine.
Build to this has just been kind of like Logan Paul's a hateable, obnoxious heel, which is kind of always
kind of valid,
like that's his default setting, right?
Yeah.
But the match should be good, I think.
That's the kind of thing that saves it. I think the match could really deliver.
Yeah, me too. I'm wondering what Kross does after this. If he jumps to another story. Or...
I also saw that he wore long tights, which I thought didn't look great, but like that his tights mimic AJ's.
Yeah. It's funny. He's kind of like a shapeshifter.
It's like I said, it's more interesting.
Yeah. After 10 minutes of Jey Uso theme song, he says he's ready for Gunther at Mania and he's going to win. And he uses the term, that fellow kids thing. He says he was crashing out, but now he's locked in, which as someone who works with teenagers all the time, I hear that.
I was saying when you're watching NXT, Trick Williams wearing the shirt that says like crash out trick or whatever. I'm just like, okay, dude.
Crash out's a big thing, man.
But like, it's just, it's so fellow kids.
And then that's exactly what I wrote down. Fellow kids much? And then we get his theme to end this promo too. So thank God I can skip things because I don't watch it live. And I'm not watching this live. Balor and Penta had a good 12-minute match that ended in a DQ. You mentioned it when we did our preview for Mania. Like, Balor's good, but he never wins, so it kind of takes you out of his matches a bit.
just have him win.
That's
It's
what a
not
crazy
that
idea.
hard.
That's crazy.
I love Balor, and I've seen people like posting clips from when he was a babyface and he was doing the entrance with the how over he was, and he was like,
Because you
it's
could just kind of not pay much attention and go, it's a good match, and he loses, right? But
I don't understand like
same thing happened here.
why like people should
Or no, sorry, ended in a DQ. So
people
that's different.
should speak up 'cause, like he should have like a Daniel Bryan thing, like because he's like kind of an indie guy, not indie but like that style.
Prince Devitt was super cool,
right? Well, even in NXT or NXT both times, like his original run was pretty good, but we really liked his return run.
We did. That was my favorite Balor, I think.
In the dying days of Black and Gold.
Yep.
I think Balor's really great if they actually do something with him.
So Braun runs down. Carlito runs away because he's not taking another spear from this guy.
Yeah.
Braun took out Balor with a clothesline to cause the DQ. Penta and Balor, I thought, had really good chemistry, and I would love to see them in a longer match with a definitive ending. But again, that'll be Penta winning, Balor losing. But
Balor beating a new guy? Okay.
so after match, Dominic and Carlito attack Braun. Braun hits a spear to both of them simultaneously. Braun charges at Penta, stops the charge with a kick, sends Braun to the floor, dives onto Braun, Carlito, and Balor to stand tall. I was a little nervous because Braun's like grabbing his knee, and he was selling his shoulder earlier, so I was worried he tweaked something. But I don't know. I'm hoping he's okay. I haven't heard anything. So Io gets her turn to have a segment, mostly in Japanese. She's beaten both these women before.
What does she think, though?
And at Mania, she'll remind them who she is.
So
that part was in English.
Win?
She thinks she's going to win.
Okay, interesting.
It's crazy because each of the three of them think they're going to win, but that's not possible.
That is not possible.
So something's got to give,
especially if you run it through the Steiner math calculator.
I wish. Something's got to give. The main event was a segment. It was Heyman in the ring with Reigns.
Does Heyman think he's going to win? Like Paul Heyman thinks Paul Heyman
I mean, you're
win.
kind of spoiling it, but yes, he thinks he's going to win. And so does Punk, and so does Rollins.
But like I'm saying, Paul Heyman thinks Paul Heyman is going to win the match.
He might.
I mean, if he just aligns himself with the winner, is it not the same thing?
That's right. And I think he is going to do that.
Did see Roman beat him up?
Reigns accuses Heyman of betraying him. Heyman says it's not betrayal. He's just returning a favor. Reigns claimed that he never asked for anybody to join them at War Games, so how is Reigns supposed to cover the tab for Heyman's dumb ass favor? Fair, right? Seth comes out, says this was a little bit much. The future of the company depends on their match, and that it's like the biggest triple threat match ever.
Even though like Rollins and Roman have both expressed retirement sentiments in the next few years,
and nobody has a title or anything,
and none of them have a title, and Punk's also older than them.
Yes,
so he should be retiring sooner.
Reigns can't be the future because he only shows up when it's convenient for him, and that will lead to the death of the business. It can't be Punk because he leaves for years and comes back leeching off other people's success. The business will also die if Punk wins. Rollins has the courage to always do what is best for business, and with him, the business thrives. Favors don't happen by chance. This is him now basically talking to Reigns about the favors, right? Favors don't happen by chance. They are a choice. And he chose not to put Heyman in the hospital last week. Heyman is a scumbag, so Rollins doesn't expect a favor from him. Heyman was in CM Punk's corner by choice, and Reigns needs to think about why Heyman is choosing Punk over Reigns. Reigns says that Heyman has made his choice. Reigns has made his. He attacks Rollins and also shoves Heyman to the ground.
I think Rollins is full of crap. He knows.
That's too much for Punk. He obviously has to run out. Sends Reigns out of the ring. Checks on Paul Heyman. Reigns then spears Punk. Rollins chair shot to Reigns. Commentary go out of their way to remind us that was the Shield stuff, right? Couldn't just let us figure that out. But anyways, stomp to Punk, stomp to Reigns. Rollins stands tall. The fans are chanting that part of his song that they love. I
saw Rollins also do a bit of a pipe bomb on SmackDown tonight, which was kind of interesting.
I kind of like this, right? Like Rollins is presenting a good case to Heyman as to why he shouldn't really be super loyal to either one of those guys because they don't really do much for him.
And he's kind of inciting more issues between the other two guys.
And it's the little bit of intrigue on. It's kind of they've made Heyman the focal point of this, right? And where he's going and what he's doing. So that's kind of interesting. NXT, you were in the room for all of this. I won't say how much you watched, but at least you were aware.
I have no idea.
4-way for the North American title, #1 contender. Lexis King, Eddie Thorpe, Wesley, and Ethan Page. All heels?
Yeah, that's what I thought was weird about it.
Yep. We had Lee on the bottom of a Tower of Doom.
Which I also thought was weird.
Saints is on commentary. Paige kind of baits him into engaging with him,
Can
and
you throw Thorpe onto him?
Saints gets sent to the back. Is that what it was?
I think so.
2 submissions applied at the same time to King. Lee stops him from tapping, grabbing his arm, and then things break up. Lee whisper in the win leads to Paige hitting an electric chair and DDT. If you picture that, he had someone on his shoulders. He had someone for a DDT.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, and then Lee hits a whisper in the wind and forces him to drop the electric chair while DDTing somebody. Everybody hits big moves, with someone else breaking up the pinfall until Paige grabs King, hits the twisted grin, picks up the win after 12 minutes. Pretty fun opener, good action throughout. Good quality all heel match. Everyone in here's got experience, right? It's none of like the NIL people or brand new people. It's all people who've been around for a while. It's a good match, but it's really just a match to decide who loses to Saints on pay-per-view, right?
Pretty much.
That was our most
It was our
certainty
most
score.
100%.
No chance Ricky's losing. Makes sense for Paige to win. He's been attacking Saints and whatever. They have some history at least. Really cool Jordan Grace vignette, I thought, on her history in wrestling.
Yeah, because they now with the partnership, they could use all that TNA footage.
She says that she had negative aura. She didn't fit the mold of a female wrestler, right? She wasn't what they wanted when she was starting in wrestling. So she basically dedicated herself, building a body, became obsessed.
So she worked herself to fit into a mold.
She became obsessed with standing out from the other women and being different. She forced her way into the conversation through her hard work, etc., etc. I thought this was really well done and a nice route to take, and that it's kind of this like, I've never been handed anything. Nobody really wanted me because I don't look like I was supposed to look, but I found my path sort of thing. And she's kind of undeniable, which I thought was cool. The women are bickering backstage as usual. Kalani and Izzy Dame are healing it up around Saul, Ruka, and Zarya. Some more slight teasing of Zarya and Saul because they can't both be completely on the same page and both want to win the same match, right? That they're in. So there's obviously something underlying there. Fine idea, but like this whole all we know how to do with the women's division is have them bickering in the locker room.
Step up.
Needs to change. They need to do something else.
Yeah, it's nice that they're always there on like a bunch of them are on TV, but it's just it's
the same. Note. It's the copy and paste it every week. Lola Vice, Tatum Paxley, qualifier for the North American ladder match at Stand and Deliver. Graves points out that we've not seen Vice in a while, and that is for sure. She wins with an anti-air kick and a back fist. 10-minute match, solid, nothing more. Crowd was into it more than I was, I thought, and I just find Gigi Dolan's presence annoying still. I don't feel like Vice has much of a chance in the ladder match because she has zero story. She's just been kind of in some of those backstage segments, just kind of there like everybody else. There's nothing really planned for her. So anyways, Julia gets a segment here, and she talks about friendship only going so far when the championship is involved. She says Parker can dish it out and not take it, and Grace is strong, but Julia will show her about strong style. Last year, she introduced herself to NXT. This year, she leaves as champion. Good promo, mostly in English, a little bit in Japanese. She kind of feels like a tweener right now. Like, friendship aside, I need the title.
Yeah, she kind of came back and beat up Vicaire.
The crowd loves Vicaire, so Julia can work heel in this match, but I guess it's just kind of her doing whatever it takes to win, right? And I'm hearing speculation that she loses and heads to main roster.
I feel like, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think she needs to be in NXT very long. And the women's division is stacked, so it's not like the cupboard's bare if she leaves.
Yeah, for sure.
Ava tells Roxanne that she needs to find a tag partner, and then Ava will make the women's tag match a four-way shot, four-way for the women's titles, right? So that'd be the Meta 2, Fatal Influence, Dolan, Paxley are already in it. And I'm like, is Roxanne not on main roster?
I thought that was the plan. They brought her up because they had a plan.
And it seemed like they were doing stuff, and then she's back down here.
Yeah.
I still think it leads to Bailey. But
yeah,
we'll see.
It could.
You watched the tag team gauntlet match? I think you might actually
I was paying someone attention at least.
So Hank and Tank and Tyson and Tyreek start first, and I've noticed that they've been using Igwe and DuPont's first names almost exclusively. And my thing is like, you chose their names, so why didn't you choose last names that you liked then? You know what I mean? You picked them, and now you're like kind of done with them.
They're gonna mononym them or whatever it is.
Mono named them, yeah.
Yeah.
Hank and Tank double splash and their
Redacted
finisher in like 2 minutes, right? The first little bit there. And then it's the culling out next.
Their finisher also is not great.
I didn't think it was.
It's
I'm
just
not a
like,
big fan. It's too hard to tell what's even going on. It's not that impactful looking. I don't know.
It just kind of boils down to a power slam.
I know.
Because Tank just like kind of checks into them quick, but like it's
like
not
a shoulder tackle into a
power slam. Like, it's just not much.
They
only used it there too. Like the rest of the falls were other stuff.
There was an electric chair bulldog on the announce table while we were at breaks. We didn't really get to see it. Heel tactics get a near fall for the culling. It was like the ref not seeing the babyface tag and then double teaming behind the ref's back. Hank hot tag is becoming a thing, and he's pretty energetic, right? Like,
yeah,
these guys have.
They both have good energy to them.
Jensen anti-air spinning heel kick, but Tank counters a culling top rope move into a power slam for the win. Bourne and Heights next. They immediately attack. The crowd is really into Hank and Tank. No quarter catch crew go for their finisher. Hank pulls Bourne out. Hank rolls, or sorry, I forget which one. I wrote Hank twice. One of them pulls Bourne out, and the other one rolls up Heights for the win. Then it's Inamura and Briggs out next. Eventual inside cradle. Hank wins. I really chopped this down. This was over 20 minutes. I thought Hank and Tank were impressive, even just cardio-wise.
Yeah.
They were going pretty fast this whole time.
Yeah, they didn't seem to like get gas.
No, not at all.
Good.
And they're big dudes, so
yeah.
The match itself was fine. I really like No Quarter Catch Crew. I think they have massive potential.
Think they're really cool.
But they didn't get to do a ton here.
Davion's really dope, and Orton Jr. is cool.
So I don't love the payoff to the Hank and Tank story because it's like just they tried a whole bunch of things, and then in the end, it's just do what you were doing before. Like, so we took this big roundabout, this big route to get back to like just do what you were doing before.
Right.
So no real payoff. And again, we're kind of assuming they win on the pay-per-view. Both of us picked them.
I would assume so, yeah.
You saw this, I think. Turner, Stone, and Ava have you said, quote, totally natural conversation.
Total natural conversation between real human beings.
What was it about?
They were just talking about.
Someone from Evolve was there.
Yeah, I think they were talking about the.
Oh, a women's ladder match qualifier.
Yeah, I know. It's just.
But then there was a woman from Evolve there.
Yeah, I don't know. I was
who
like,
wasn't
that's
in
how
the
people
qualifier.
Talk. Nope.
And I don't know.
It's just the way they're talking is just that felt real to me.
Supernatural, right? Like
I was just like,
not a scripted conversation.
That's how people talk.
Jada Parker gets a vignette. I think she's awesome.
That's how people talk.
Yes. She said people have always made assumptions about her. She got into soccer, loved the physicality immediately. Her dad coached her. Her uncle was her best friend. He died, and she's literally crying at this point now. She does not fit other people's agendas. Life made her hard. She needs no friends. No one can break her. She'll show the world that Jada Parker don't play, and she'll take the title with her. I just think she's a supernatural promo. She sounds better than 90% of the main roster already. If she can just up her in-ring game a bit,
I think that's why
she
should have been North American, because I think you need that time to season her.
I think she's perfectly perched right at that scene right now. I agree. She's feels
awesome. A little too far to put her in this.
I think so too.
But maybe
she's there to take the pin.
Guy.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But she is supernatural on promos. I love it. The family taking on Dark State, in a parking lot fight. Parking lot fight, air quotes. The family send Rizzo away, and they all have crowbars. They fight their way. They
have like 5 mobsters behind them, and did any of them do anything? No. Or like it was mostly just security that ended up coming.
So they're in the parking lot for literally seconds before they fight their way into the arena, right? And you pointed out too, and I can't put my finger on it, but you said it's shot weird.
Yeah.
And there's no sound underneath, so that's also
felt
weird.
Like an amateur cinematic match at first. Just the angles
like
and
TNA
like the ways
one.
Yeah. And
remember, was it EC3 Moose that I
that was the one. Yeah.
Hated so much.
And it reminds me of there was one cinematic match I think they did at the PC, because remember they used to do in the pandemic, obviously.
Yeah.
Remember it was Street Profits and War Raiders doing the thing, and then remember Akira Tozawa had his ninjas.
Yes, wasn't that the bowling ball to the groin? Is that the second time that's come up?
There was bowling balls. No, there was something. No, because remember before that they were doing different activities. Where they were doing like axe throwing and bowling, and then that was the one where they're fighting everywhere, and then. There was something. Remember, Ivar's like a ladies' man. He's obsessed with turkey leg.
Right.
And there's a bunch of ninjas, and one of them was clearly Omos, but it was before Omos was a thing. Right. But I think after Omos was the bodyguard for Raw Underground.
Yeah.
But I remember that was like one of our least favorite cinematics.
It was awful.
Because that one was horrible. It was that one was bad. The swamp fight with Fiend or Bray. It was Bray because Fiend came at the end, but it was Bray and Strowman. That one was bad. The TNA one was bad. You loved Wrestle House.
I did love Wrestle House. It was amazing.
I remember the only cinematches I really liked were because Boneyard was okay, but people go ape shit for that one. I really liked the Bray Wyatt one with Cena, the 5-5 because it's not really a match. I just think it's an interesting piece. But Stadium Stampede's kind of cinematic-ish, and that one's easily the best. The first one. Best one. That one was awesome.
We get chairs and fire extinguishers eventually back in the parking lot. I think it was Crucifino gets slammed on the hood of a car. Tony D shows up with a crowbar, attacks Dark State. Sounds like cops are like there's sirens in the distance approaching. It sounded like.
But then it was Tony who called them, right?
Yeah. Tony and Stax argue. Tony had a plan. Stax went over his head. Tony wants to handle this at Stand and Deliver. He knows what's best for the family, and Stax is not to question him again. They hug it out, and you sort of get a close up of each one of their faces for a minute, trying to read what Stax is thinking here. So not really a street fight, just kind of a brawl.
Yeah, it was.
Nothing really happened of consequence. It was
like, let's have this knockdown, drag out brawl. Hey guys, want to have a 6-man tag match?
Street fight or parking lot fight that's in the parking lot for 8% of it.
Like basically. Literally 30 seconds.
Anyways, Vaquer gets a vignette with super babyface music underneath. Remember, it was like the most like, I'm a great person. But anyways, it was all about her traveling back to Chile. I think Chile it was. And she's super proud to represent them. She's been doing media appearances all over, meeting with politicians, got her dad a couple replica belts because I think that was what got her into wrestling. She's a really good babyface, man, and we always say that's not easy to find. Even though she's got like the dark look and stuff and like devil's horns, like people love her.
People do really like her.
And I love her too, so she connects with the fans for whatever reason, and I thought this was cool, showing all the stuff she's doing as champion.
Yeah, I think she should use that corkscrew moonsault as a finisher instead of her stupid backbreaker.
The backbreaker's fine as a signature.
I think it'd be cool to set up the moonsault.
Yeah, I agree. Hank and Tank are very hyped after their win. Fraxium approached them. Fraser's being cocky and confident. Axiom's still the humble one. Axiom's the only one to shake hands as they kind of walk away. So it's what Fraxium do, right? Fraser's a jerk, Axiom's cool, and then the only thing they have in common is that they work super well as a tag team. Roxanne wants to be her own tag partner. Ava won't let her. Cora Jade walks in and hints that if Roxanne apologizes to her, that's her tag partner. So Cora Jade's back already.
What happened? Remember she thought she was injured though, right?
Yeah, and I don't ever want anyone injured, but I don't miss her when she's gone. I'll put it that way.
She's been gone at least a few times, right?
Yes. Andre Chase is with the kids, who are
Uriah Dixon and Uriah Connors.
Right. And then magically Thea Hale just shows up. She's back. And it's kind of like, Chase, you didn't ruin my life. You have my kind of blessing to start the thing again.
It's like, I guess, like closure, I guess.
Yeah. So she supports Chase helping the two other kids. And then she announces that she has a ladder match qualifier. And then her theme intro you laughed at.
Well, I actually didn't notice until like partway through her entrance, I think it was. And I was like,
but even the very part at the beginning, what does it say? I'm a full-grown woman.
Yeah, okay. The beginning of her theme was the most Def Rebel thing ever. Because it was just like, I'm a grown-ass woman.
That's what it was. And then the actual theme apparently is one I've always hated.
Like, because so I'm listening and I was like, okay, she has a new theme, whatever. I honestly didn't notice really anything about it. And then I think it was when she started to go towards the ring, right? I noticed some of the lyrics and I was like, so it was like the chorus. And I was like, now's our time. I was like, that sounds familiar. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, where? I've seen this before. And I was like, isn't that Eddie Edwards' theme?
Sure is.
And it is.
It is.
Like, because I'd play it right now, but like.
No, thank you.
I was so confused. I was like, why?
Yeah.
Because to my knowledge, he's still maybe using. I mean, the system have their own theme, so maybe he just uses that. But like, he's still wrestling.
Yeah.
It's so weird. I know they've used themes before because I don't think. I know Brodus Clay had the same theme as I think Ernest Miller. I want to say, or maybe no, but I know then Xavier Woods used Brodus Clay's theme as well. I'm pretty sure Brock Lesnar's theme is in his.
Can we redact Brodus Clay at this point?
I'd like to.
I don't know.
But like. I just thought it was so weird, and then why would you pick that?
And then her
Oh.
character seems pretty similar. Still high energy.
That seemed the same.
Graves even points it out, and then she puts a pretty quick Kimura on, and it's over less than 3 minutes.
It was really quick.
And then, like, all of this was kind of cheesy. Like, all of the contestants for the ladder match are, like, conveniently spread out in the crowd in different parts of the crowd. And then Vic hypes the match. Main event was a segment here as well. It's Trick in the ring to speak. He's not a fan of Evans calling him mellow. Said you either die the hero or live long enough to become the villain, but he is still alive, and he's coming for Oba's title. Oba comes out, says that Trick just keeps doing the same things over and over, including the whoop that Trick chant. The spotlight is moving on, and Trick should do the same. This is Trick's last chance. Evans comes out next. He and the people are tired of Trick talking about what he is owed. Trick is dismissed, which the crowd was like, ooh, you dismissed Trick. Evans turns his attention to Oba. He says real recognizes real. Oba attracts success, but Javon has dropped him twice. Oba is likely to be drafted and do great things, but Oba thinks NXT revolves around him. Evans is the underdog, and that's how he likes it. Oba's dismissive of Evans now for being young and brash, and Evans may be the future.
I love the way Evans talks.
Me
It's
too.
so authentic.
It is.
Him. It's so good.
Unlike everybody else. But Oba is the present, and he is the champion. Evans can't handle it because he is a child. Evans says that neither of the others can touch him in the ring, so the other two throw him out and brawl, and then Evans comes back and hits them both with a springboard cutter at the same time. Solid final segment ahead of the match. I like all three of these guys, the job they're doing here. Evans just the one that feels super fresh, right? And the other two kind of stick
I feel like
to
he's
doing
going
what
to
they've
help
been
breathe
doing.
life into this match.
Yeah.
And I think
Probably
it's kind
got
of funny
pinned.
that he feels like the one that's being trusted to.
Well, he
choose
said
the
it, right?
match.
You can't touch me in the ring. And it's kind of like, at
It's
20,
kinda
you
true,
are
yeah.
probably the worker of this bunch.
Yeah, I feel like he is probably the fall guy one way or another.
Because he's not just like, I thought when he came in, man, it's just another super bouncy guy. And like, that's it. He's one dimensional, but he's good
He's good.
at a lot of things. So yeah, that's the end of that. And we didn't catch anything from SmackDown, right?
No, and we already did our preview. So the only thing I had left was some figure stuff because they did a bunch of reveals at Mania.
So let's do that now. We do it anytime there's anything worth talking about. And Jack says there is, so we call it Figuring It Out with Jack. I feel like it's been a while.
It has. I mean, I think last time was when I actually had you looking at it on the forum.
Which I'm going to look at them now as well.
We have it here, yeah. There's a bunch of stuff. I just kind of cherry pick the stuff that I find interesting for one reason or another.
Do it.
So I think towards the top, there's the Survivor Series elites, which I think are interesting because obviously we got a new JD McDonough. I love that. Love getting a new JD McDonough.
Oh, yeah, I
from
see it.
2023, I think, with like the braided hair, the white knee pad from when he took that super RKO.
And we're building Nick Aldis.
And we are building Nick Aldis, so that's a cool build for your Nick Aldis. I think the Cody's kind of cool too because he's got the camo face paint from the poster.
The 1-2-3 Kid one's dope.
The 1-2-3 Kid is very nice too from '95. That one's nice. And then Brett in the short singlet from '93, and people are like going to use that for Owen to make an Owen custom.
Yeah, that is more Owen.
Because that was the whole point. Is that because that's from the match when he teamed with the Owen and then their other two brothers. So that's why he wore like the short singlet that doesn't have the long tights.
Makes sense.
Then is that the cat?
Yes.
That's crazy. What a lunatic.
We were being yelled at.
What a lunatic. Yeah, let's scroll down a bit for it. But there's I was telling you about this, the ringside exclusive Finish the Story 2-pack, which is Cody and his dog.
Yes, I gotta find that.
The dog has an interchangeable head, by the way, and it's
there it is.
And it has articulation. It's Cody's gear from the second time he won the Rumble, and then it's got a cloth shirt and
big old
actual
American
dog
flag.
and a big old American flag and a dog leash and whatever.
Beautiful.
I was like, feels so self-indulgent for Cody. And on that note,
on brand is what we call that.
On brand, we have the Ultimate Edition 2-pack, which is the couple that ended racism.
Yes.
It's Cody and Brandy. I think they're up towards the top.
I just saw that promo today.
They're up towards the top. Yeah, I don't know how you found that. But you showed me that. I was like, you showed me a code promo. I was like, what are you watching? And then I realized what it was, and I was like,
It was amazing.
Yeah, you got Cody from Mania with Brandy. You got him with this big stupid skull mask.
Right.
And you even got the kissy face heads for the couple that ended racism.
That's amazing.
So that's great, you know. We got a grayed out render somewhere it's for Penta for Defining Moments Elite. It's kind of interesting because he has not interchangeable heads, but interchangeable
found it.
expressions.
Oh, really?
If you swipe, there's like a closed mouth, tongue out, and then open mouth, and then the interchangeable one for like his entrance, as the face cover.
They're gonna be pumping out toys for that guy.
Penta is like, it's gonna be so toy. He was toyetic with the AEW one, so that was really crazy. And then near there's the blue and white and pink Jey Uso from when he won with the Intercontinental title,
giant
with the foam
hands.
yeet hands. Yeah, so that's
Awesome.
something. Then you also got CM Punk from a dark match with the
Old
ROH shorts and the red hair.
That's like Ring of Honor.
I would say the fact that it's from a dark match makes it the opposite of a defining moment, but
It's
what
like
do
Ring
I
of
know
Honor
about
Punk.
pretty much, right? And they also had Stone Cold in defining moments lead, which is interesting because it's the first time they're doing a bloody head because it's from the submission match.
I'm looking at that right now.
Which that's pretty cool, actually. I think that's pretty nice. In the face I saw from the one they had on display, it's pretty spot on. So I think that's
Is
really
there
cool.
a Kurt Angle with milk on his head?
No, it's hair versus hair Kurt Angle with shaving cream on his head.
Oh.
And you get the
Right.
wig and headgear, which I think is pretty cool. On that note, Angle also has an Ultimate Edition. If you go up a bit, it's Euro Continental Champion Angle with both belts. So I think that's kind of cool.
I see him
as well
with hair on all.
Yeah, right next
all
to that,
three
there's
heads.
Ultimate Edition Umaga, which is pretty great. Love Umaga. I do not have a Umanga yet, so that'd be
Looks
nice.
Cool.
Next to him, you got Make a Difference Fatu, which I think is kind of a cool
That's
pull.
weird.
And if you swipe along, there's also GI Bro.
Awesome.
And the build-a-figure for that wave is NWO Big Boss Man, aka Big Bubba Rogers.
Mm-hmm.
What else we got? There's the Ultimate Umaga and then the updated Dom with the mustache.
It looks good.
The Dom looks really good. I did see like an actual prototype of it.
Good.
It looks really nice. Mello's got newly. There's not really a picture fact. It's just a prototype with like no color or anything. There's also an Oba Elite coming, but you can actually see the Oba Basic, which looks really, really good. I think that one's towards the top in the package, but the Oba, like the head scan's pretty spot on. It's a little smiley, but the formula seems pretty good for Oba.
Oh yeah, there he is.
And then the Trick Williams looks horrible. Like looks like a draft neck, and it looks like the Trick basics look brutal. I think. I don't know why. I don't like them,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not even because I have an issue with Trick. Then there's the Hall of Champions League 4-pack, which is somewhere down there, which I think is interesting because it's San Martino, it's Warrior, it's Cena, it's Roman with each different versions of the WWE belt. But the Bruno's interesting because he has like the actual version that he won, so like the retro belt.
I'm struggling to find that one.
It's like it's near the picture of Bailey. It's like a box set. It's pretty like I think just Bruno having that retro belt is really crazy. The Roman, it's kind of a re-release of the one belt or one figure they just did, except just with different colored boots.
Yeah.
It's a little farther down for sure. There's also the Punk and the Bret Hart gear for Ultimate, which actually looks really nice. Like for a Punk figure, it looks really good.
I see a Braun Breaker.
Braun Breaker, you're near there then. If it's the figure and not the render.
The figure.
The head scan it's a little up from there.
It looks good.
The head scan looks a little weird, the yelling scan, but like it's not bad. And then where were the Wyatt?
Oh yeah, Hall of Champions.
Yeah,
Got
that
it.
one. And so I think Bruno having the actual belt is kind of cool. Then there's the Wyatt 6. It's an Elite 3-pack with I think it's you get Howdy, Rowan, and Nikki in one shot, and then they're releasing Gacy and Loomis in the main line later.
They don't exist.
Which will be cool. Like the sculpts on these are gonna be crazy with the masks and like.
Did they show up on Mania?
No.
Good for them.
They'd be lucky to return on the shows after Mania.
True.
And then there were renders we got elites for Lyra and Julia coming, which will be cool. And there's a bunch of other stuff, but not much else that interests me personally.
Yeah.
Like that's the sucky thing is I wish AEW needs to pump out figures more because that's typically what I'm interested in.
It is.
Interested in their roster, but
me too.
That should be all.
All right, well that's good. That's going to bring us to the end of episode 248, coming in under 2 hours this week, as I thought we might. So again, reminder, go check out our preview and predictions if you're listening to this before Mania, which is happening later today.
Later today.
So you got a limited time to go check that out, or if you just want to watch us talk about our predictions to laugh at how wrong we are, or praise us for being right after the fact.
When we're going to be right.
That works too. Certainty scores are attached to see who wins that. We'll definitely talk about Mania maybe in a separate pod or on 249. We'll see how taken we are with it and if we want to talk about stuff ahead of time.
Time will allow.
Yes. We'll try and find some time. Anyways, thanks for joining us. See you back here next week for 249. Until then, everybody, take care.